Imagine waking up to the stench of charred wood and melted dreams. Your family's sanctuary reduced to a smoking skeleton because some power-hungry neighbor decided your chickens were a threat to her perfect suburbia. That's where I stood, thermos in hand, staring at the ruins of my home, clutching the very codebook I'd authored, the one that would torch her empire instead. But oh, the irony. She thought fire would force me into her HOA cult, never guessing I'd rise from the ashes to send her straight to federal prison. My name's Alex Harlan, and for over 2 decades, I've been the unsung hero or villain, depending on who you ask, in the world of municipal regulations. As a senior code enforcement specialist for the city of Willow Creek, Texas, I'm the guy who ensures your neighbor's illegal pool doesn't turn into a mosquito breeding ground or that shady garage conversion doesn't collapse on someone's head. It's not glamorous, but it's necessary, like flossing or paying taxes. My wife, Maria, runs the local community center, teaching art classes to kids who need an outlet from their overscheduled lives. We've got 2 teenagers, Sophia, the aspiring environmentalist who names every plant in our garden, and Lucas, the tech whiz who's more at home coding apps than kicking a soccer ball. Until this mess exploded, they teased me relentlessly about being the boring rule guy. Little did they know, Dad's rulebook would become our family's shield and sword. Our slice of paradise? A modest 3-acre plot on the edge of Willow Creek Estates, handed down from my grandfather who turned it from dusty farmland into a self-sufficient haven back in the 50s. When the subdivision developers swooped in during the 80s boom, they slapped HOA rules on everyone else. Tiny lots, cookie-cutter houses, bans on everything from holiday lights to visible trash cans. But us, grandfathered in, baby. We kept the wraparound porch where Maria sketched sunrises, the vegetable patch bursting with heirloom tomatoes and zucchini that fed half the block during potlucks. And yeah, a dozen free-range chickens clucking around like feathered comedians. Mornings were pure bliss. The earthy whiff of fresh-turned soil, kids giggling as they tossed feed, me sipping black coffee while restoring vintage bikes in the workshop. It was freedom in a world of beige conformity. But freedom, as it turns out, makes some folks itch like they've got ants in their designer yoga pants. That's when she slithered in Linda Hargrove, the HOA queen bee who'd buzzed into town from upscale Seattle, armed with a real estate portfolio and a smile sharper than a lawyer's subpoena. Picture her. Impeccably coiffed bob haircut that defied humidity, a pearl necklace screaming, "I'm better than you," and a hybrid SUV so spotless it looked like it repelled dirt on principle. She'd bought the McMansion across the cul-de-sac, expecting her 6-figure investment to come with a neighborhood straight out of a lifestyle magazine. Our rustic setup? To her, it was a blight, a rebel flag waving in her face. Her opening salvo came disguised as neighborly charm, a basket of gluten-free muffins and a glossy HOA pamphlet. "Oh, Alex, darling," she cooed, her voice like honey laced with arsenic. "We're so thrilled to have established families like yours join our little community. This application's just a formality. Think of it as your ticket to harmony and rising property values." I chuckled politely, handing back the form untouched. "Appreciate the muffins, Linda. But we're good here. This land's been ours longer than the HOAs existed. No need to sign away our rights." Her eyes narrowed just a fraction, that plastic smile cracking at the edges like cheap veneer. "Well, if you change your mind. For the sake of the children. You know." The door clicked shut, and I thought that was that. Boy, was I wrong. Within days, the whispers started subtle at first, like a leaky faucet you ignore until it floods the basement. Neighbors who'd borrowed eggs from our coop suddenly averted their eyes at the mailbox. Maria overheard snide comments at her art class. "Can you believe they still have those noisy birds? So uncivilized." Then the official nonsense hit. A certified letter arrived, embossed with the HOA seal, citing community aesthetic standards and how our garden might devalue adjacent properties. Maria rolled her eyes as she read it aloud over dinner. Devalue? Our tomatoes won blue ribbons at the county fair last year. Sophia giggled, but Lucas frowned, scrolling his phone. "Dad, there's a post in the neighborhood app calling our place a health hazard. Says the chickens could spread bird flu or something." I leaned back, sipping my coffee, feeling that familiar enforcer's instinct kick in. I'd seen this dance before, petty tyrants hiding behind rules to bully folks into submission. But I stayed cool, documenting every word. No knee-jerk reactions. That's how you lose. Instead, I pulled out my battered code binder, the one I'd helped draft back in '98, and highlighted the grandfather clause, pre-existing agricultural uses exempt from residential covenants. Our setup was ironclad. Linda, though, wasn't one for backing down. She escalated like a bad habit, flooding the city with complaints. 17 in a single week, illegal foul, unpermitted outbuildings, potential noise pollution. I'd show up at the office to stacks of forms on my desk, all in her looping cursive that screamed control freak. My boss, old-timer Frank, slapped me on the back with a grin. "Harlan, your own backyard's keeping us in business. What's this lady's beef?" I shrugged it off publicly, but at home, over Maria's homemade lasagna, I dissected each one. "Look here," I said, pointing to where she'd mislabeled our hobby garden as a commercial operation. "That's not just wrong, it's falsifying official docs. Misdemeanor territory. $500 a pop." Maria's eyes widened. "You're not thinking of..." I winked. "Not yet. Let her dig her own grave." The wellness walks were her next absurd play. Linda and her clique of matching Loyalman minions parading past our fence daily, phones out like paparazzi at a scandal. Click, click, click. "Oh, heavens, is that manure I smell?" Linda would stage whisper, loud enough for the birds to hear. Think of the property values. One morning, as Sophia scattered feed, Linda paused, clipboard in hand. "Young lady, doesn't it bother you living in such chaos? Our HOA kids have pristine playgrounds." Sophia, bless her sharp tongue, shot back, "Actually, Ms. Hargrove, chaos is what makes life fun. Your playgrounds look like prison yards." Linda's face twitched, that concerned citizen mask slipping to reveal the petty dictator beneath. I watched from the porch, coffee going cold, noting the timestamps on our security cam. Black humor hit me. Here was a woman who'd probably sue a squirrel for unauthorized nut storage, obsessing over our eggs. But the laughs turned bitter when the social shunning kicked in. Linda launched a Concerned Residents Alliance on Facebook, posting doctored photos of our compost bin labeled Rodent Resort and our rain barrel as Mosquito Factory. Membership ballooned overnight, folks scared of her wrath or buying her for the kids' spiel. Maria came home from work pale. "Parents at the center are asking if our farm is safe for playdates." Lucas got benched from his robotics club because liability concerns. Sophia's friends ghosted her at lunch, whispering about that weird chicken house. The isolation stung like salt in a cut. The quiet bus stop, the empty seats at school events. One night, Maria slammed the door after a grocery run. that which cornered me in produce, saying our lifestyle is dragging down the whole street. I told her to mind her own beats. We laughed, but it was that angry chuckle, the kind where you imagine cartoon steam from ears. I countered quietly, using my lunch breaks to probe Linda's background. Turns out, she wasn't just a nosy neighbor. She was a serial flipper with rentals in multiple states, a trail of mysterious property mishaps in her wake. Fires, floods, condemnations, all leading to cheap buys and fat commissions. "Maria," I whispered over late-night wine, spreading printouts on the table. "This isn't about standards. It's a land grab." Her eyes hardened. "Then let's grab back." I filed my first official pushback, a harassment claim with the city attorney, citing her false reports. The inspector, a greenhorn named Tim, showed up looking overwhelmed. I walked him through, codebook open. "See section 14.2.9? Exempt." He nodded, marking unfounded on every count. Linda's meltdown was priceless, storming over as he left, voice shrill. "This is outrageous. That man doesn't know a violation from a vacation." Tim called from his truck. "Ma'am, Mr. Harlan wrote half these rules. He's the expert." Her face bloomed purple, jabbing a finger. "You'll regret this, Alex. Some stains don't wash out." The threats escalated subtly at first. Anonymous calls probing my schedule. Strange trucks idling nearby. Sophia mentioned a delivery guy asking if we were home. No package in sight. My gut twisted. This was veering into danger zone. Linda doubled down, slamming a complaint against me at work. Abuse of power. Selective enforcement. My boss sighed, reassigning me to desk duty pending review. The irony? Me, the rule stickler, accused of bending them. But desperation breeds sloppiness. Digging into her rentals, I found gold. Unpermitted additions, fire hazards galore. I filed complaints mirroring her language, poetic justice. Her tenants got notices, fines piled up. She confronted me in the hardware store lot, voice a venomous hiss amid clanging carts. "Think your little book scares me? Accidents happen, Alex. Old wiring sparks. Gas lines leak. Witnesses gasped. I stayed calm." "Sounds like a threat, Linda," she smirked. "Just neighborly advice." The community fractured. Her loyalists boycotted our eggs, while old-timers slipped us supportive notes. But the diesel stench near our drains? That was the red flag. Maria spotted it first, linking it to school bus complaints. "Alex, this smells like setup." I nodded, heart pounding. We'd uncovered her pattern, arson as the final solution. Evacuating the family under a vacation guise. I holed up with a reporter buddy, Jake, in a nearby shed, cameras rolling. Midnight brought the goons. 2 pros dousing our foundation with gas. Timers set for dawn inferno. We captured it all, plates, faces, the works. Fire department swooped in post-departure, confirming pro job. The perps got nabbed at a diner, burner phones linking straight to Linda's accounts. Dawn raid on her, chef's kiss. Suitcases packed, laptop brimming with fraud docs, shell companies, payoffs, a multi-state scam. FBI swooped. Headlines screamed, HOA arson conspiracy. Her polished facade shattered in cuffs. That bob haircut frizzing in humiliation. The fallout? Resignations. Investigations. Her empire crumbling like overbaked cookies. We rebuilt stronger. Solar panels, beefed security, community rallying with block parties over board meetings. Maria started a rights foundation. Kids pursued justice careers. National spotlights turned our fight into reform waves, new laws curbing HOA tyrants. But here's the kicker, folks. In a world where community masks control freaks, was Linda the villain, or just the symptom of a system begging for abuse? True or false? HOAs protect values, or do they breed mini-dictators? Drop your take below. Let's debate who really owns home.